So there are a lot of soap techniques out there that are awesome and cool and fun. And, again, a lot of them. But there are also just as many soap techniques that I look at and go, I don't get it. I don't understand the point. I don't want to, whatever. This particular technique is one that I have not understood, but have also been completely obsessed with and have wanted to try for a very long time. I just couldn't justify what it takes to do this technique. And before I tell you what this technique is, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. What is up, sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and sometimes we have the soapy experiments. Oftentimes, we have the soapy experiments, really. And today's one of those days. Today is day 221 of 365 days of soap, and we are doing a mirror glaze technique. Now, the mirror glaze in and of itself, it's a very cool technique. It's essentially taking soap that has been made and then using new fresh soap over the top and creating a cool, like, marble-esque, pattern. Or you can make it look like rocks, or really cool. It's shiny, it's very beautiful. You can make it look like marble, you can make it look like, river rocks, whatever, all the cool things. Very beautiful, but I could never justify like making a fresh batch of soap and then pouring over the top, and then you waste all of the extra soap that comes down off the sides as it's running down. And I went, cool technique, but I'm not gonna do it. And then as I was actually getting together some of the bits and bobs bags and all the scratch and dent, soap bags that we make and, sell on the website and in the shop, I came across a ruined batch actually of one of the Taylor Swift bars and went, I wonder if it would be worth it to do something pretty for the scratch and dent soaps with the mirror glaze. And so that's what we're doing today. So I am going to stop talking about that here, and we're going to go to the actual video, and you can check out the process, and I'll tell you more about mirror glaze and the recipe you should use and all of that jazz, in the video. So we are making some like rock, stone, marbled mirror glaze soaps today, and that is cool. Now I have been, oh, those. So do those look familiar? They should. They are a failed batch of the Folklore bar from the Taylor Swift line. The first round of those soaps accelerated like a mother. Like, it was nuts. It was acceleration and ricing and like way too many spicy notes in the blend that I used for the Folklore bar. Like, wow. And that was a disaster of a pour, so I had to re-pour it, and that was actually the only fail that I had in that whole entire series, which is not, I mean, you very rarely get failed batches of soap, right? It's not common, but when it does happen, you get to do fun things like mirror glazing your broken soap, because there are always lots of fun ways to do soap surgery. Always. In fact, I am pretty sure I showed you one like a week ago, right? Like the pink or the red was not working right. It was very pinky for Meredith's hair. And I went, no, I'm just gonna go ahead and rip that off and try again. You can do all kinds of fun things to your soap. Even your soap that is ugly, like that folklore bar, because the scent is still amazing. It still smells so good. So we should, you know, fix them. And so that is what we are doing today. We are working with a mirror glaze technique over, you know, scratch and dent soaps. And so I just sort of cut them down into stone, just cut off the, you know, corners and did some beveling and stuff to look like a stone and not just be, you know, rectangular. And now I am working with essentially an in the pot swirl or a thin lines pour, much like I lay things down for a thin lines, with the soap batter that I've made for this batch. Now, the fluidity of the soap batter for a mirror glaze is actually pretty important. Now, usually with all of my soaps, unless I'm doing a layered soap and I want it to be thicker, I stop at emulsion. I stop at emulsification. So once I've reached an emulsion, I stop and then mix it to thicker consistencies as I need to. This one, it legitimately needs to be past an emulsion, but not any further, not much past. It needs to be at a very nice thin trace. If it's at an emulsion, it's going to be too thin and it's not going to coat the bars well, right? And if it is past a thin trace, it's going to kind of glob on, and the texture will be strange with it. Now, this is just a very satisfying experience to do the mirror glaze, and it's much like, you know, marbled soaps and epoxy pours and all of the crazy things. It's beautiful. It's such a delight to work with and watch and do all the things. I have always had issues with doing a mirror glaze though, because I mean, look at everything that's dripping off of the soaps. It's like wasted, right? Just wasted product now. It's all of that extra, you know, soap batter. And that sucks, really. And so as I was doing this, because this is the reason why I have not done this. I'm familiar with the pour. Amy Warden did a soap challenge on it a while ago, and it's so pretty, it's so fun. You can add so many cool like layers of contrast and all of the stuff to them, and they all look very unique and beautiful. It's just not, it feels like a waste of soap batter. But you know, if you have, and that was one of my biggest issues with all of it too, because you know, a lot of people like make fresh soap and just to specifically do this to it, and I'm like, my God, why? So, but I love this idea of fixing scratch and dent soaps and, you know, making them cool and fun and whatever, doing it this way. That's super awesome. So this would be a delightful mystery bar on the website, and that would be cool. But again, the wasted soap batter is another like sort of sticking point with me. Like, this is not, I'm not a fan. And so this is another version of it. Now you notice the soap underneath, right? So this is actually the following day. I decided with this to continue pouring the mirror glaze in the same mold there, and just moving the little shot glass thingies that are holding the soaps up. Just move them with each, you know, subsequent whatever. And so it's creating the like what is that thing called where you have like the negative space column things? I don't know. And so inside the red mold, this wasted soap batter is actually creating cool patterns, because I moved the shot glasses from the hole that it was in before to a different hole, and so that those holes are to a different spot, and so the holes that were, you know, the dead space, they get filled with a new color of soap. And that will be cool to cut these all into different bars and see all the cool patterns that exist inside of that as well. And I think that that's cool. And so when this whole thing is filled up, I will cut it and show you guys, you know, what's inside. And so that was my sort of justification for this. Like, oh, okay, cool. I can fix some really ugly soaps and turn them into something pretty, because technically speaking, this right here would be, because it's such a pretty bar, it looks like a stone and you've done all the extra work to it and it's still a full size bar. And this is my little hack to do more of them. I'm poking them with the skewer and moving them out of the way onto another mold to dry, so I can continue doing more soaps. Now, the surface tension of this, because of the consistency and the fluidity of the batter, it is thin enough that it just falls back into the soap mold, or into the hole that was created from the skewer, and so it's like it was never there, which is awesome. I am all for that. And yeah, so this pour, again, because you're doing this extra thing and you're creating really beautiful soaps, these are theoretically soaps that could be sold full price and, you know, no problem. That's awesome. But then you're also creating more scratch and dent bars, which I love scratch and dent bars, and, you know, customers love scratch and dent bars. It's very fun. They love the bits and bobs bags. It's like a soapy adventure. It's, you know, they are always awesome. And so I'm always in need of scratch and dent bars, especially when you get to the point in your soaping, you know, career where you're not really making many mistakes, but you still have this whole last scratch and dent line. So you should, yeah, look, here we go, scratch and dent bars, and everything that's in the red mold underneath also get cut into scratch and dent bars, and there will be really cool patterns within this, just because the, you know, the little shot glasses have been moved around, and it's awesome. And so for that, to that, once I found a workaround for that, this became super enjoyable. Like, I love this. Also though, because you are working at such a low, with such a fluid batter, you could just use a little skewer thing and stab the soaps and move them out of the way, get the shot glasses out of the way, pour the soap that's in the thing that's still fluid in the red container back over more soaps until it's all gone. You could do that too. That's just more work, really. So I didn't, you know, do that. Now, another thing with the mirror glaze, in order to ensure that it stays shiny, definitely need to spritz that with rubbing alcohol to create, you know, the surface tension for the soda ash and help the soda ash not form. But also, ooh, that's so pretty. Look at that, that's gorgeous. But also getting it in the oven, covering it with saran wrap, doing all the things. Covering these ones with saran wrap a little bit hard because they're standing out, you know, above the top of the mold. And so that is not going to be, that's not going to work out really well. But I have been moving them into another mold, and they are below the top of the, you know, the slab, so I can put a piece of saran wrap over that and keep them covered and contained, and we can check them out when they are, you know, fully dried up tomorrow. And this is them after they've set up overnight. And so I did both sides of a couple of these, right? So that's the first one, and then, you know, the back side, which is cool. Now, they're not as shiny as I want them to be, and so, I don't know, I don't think my heat phase was exactly what I needed with this, but that's okay, because we are going to shine them up without any problem. And here's the cool thing. We have all this extra soap batter that's hanging out underneath that kind of, you know, slooped off the sides. You can totally use that to, you know, decorate the bottom part of the soaps that didn't get soap on them, because it's still very tacky. It's a very tacky bar right now with the mirror glaze on top. And so just kind of move it around and cover up all the holes. This was a fun project. Genuinely, this is not, my reasons for not doing things always have to do with how much of a time suck is it going to be, and will I find that time suck enjoyable? Because that's really pretty. I would like to see that one shined. So yeah, how much of a time suck is it going to be, and would I find that time suck enjoyable? Because some pours I absolutely love, even though they're super long or very involved or whatever. And two, how much waste am I going to get just to say that I've done the thing? And so for that reason, I think a mirror glaze I would only ever do this if I were doing, again, something to pretty up a scratch and dent line. Or to pretty up, more specifically, to pretty up a scratch and dent line so you can get full sale prices from the bars. These ones will still be sold in scratch and dent as the mystery bars because they were fun and they were cool, and every once in a while I might get another, you know, inkling. I might get an itch and want to do more mirror glazes because it is a fun pour. You saw how beautiful. They're all so different and just absolutely gorgeous. And you could actually do other things with this one, with these, and see how there's some texture on the top there, some ridges. That's because a thicker batter got poured over that one. So you can do some really fun things with these to make like foodie themed things if you're making truffles and, you know, those sorts of things. You can do all kinds of fun things with this and continue to just build the layers for sure. Like, I see the catharsis here. I see the enjoyment here. But for me, it always comes down to, but what kind of waste do I have going on? And ultimately, like, even the stuff that's left in the mold there, it's kind of a lot of waste. And that's, I don't like waste. I don't know a soaper that does like waste. I don't know a soaper that is okay with this. So this will actually all be scraped off of this butcher paper and rolled into a ball, and I will then use that for making soap, or use that in my shower for my soap, which is like, I mean, it's cool because nothing's going to waste, but also, shouldn't I get to enjoy my pretty bars? And so when there's waste, I can't do that. And so that's the whole thing. You just do a dip and everything shines up again and it's super pretty. And I think everybody should have microfiber towels like in their life for this exact reason, for so many reasons, but all of them involving soap. And you just get them wet, just dip them real quick, rub them with the microfiber, and it's shiny and beautiful again. See, there's a difference. You got the shine. So pretty. I really do love these. This is a really fun process. Mirror glazing is fun, but you know, again, keep batter thin, pay attention to your colors, and have a good time because this is like legitimately a very enjoyable pour. Yeah. Those soaps are super pretty. I love them so much. They're just beautiful. And like, it was a very cathartic pour. Like, one of my most favorite pours to do is like an ombre or, you know, one part wonder. It's just because it's a very cathartic and soothing experience for me. This was also that for me. So, I mean, I probably will be doing a lot more with our scratch and dent soaps and using a mirror glaze technique in the future because it's super fun. And if you are interested in these soaps, you can totally find them on the website. They are at soapandclay.com. Again, they're scratch and dent. So if you select the mystery bar this week, you will be shipped these guys. And yeah, that does it for me for today. If you guys are interested in more soapy fun, subscribe to the channel. We are doing this every day, as the name 365 Days of Soap might suggest. So it would be awesome if you could come be a part of that. That would be cool. For those of you who are a part of it, thank you so much for being a part of all of this because it's been fun and crazy, and I've made some new friends throughout the whole ride, and I love that. So thank you for supporting me and for, you know, helping the whole thing grow, and you are awesome as usual. As I said, I'm done for today. So again, thank you. I will see you guys all again tomorrow. Bye.